Good morning, it's Lisa with Lisa Heal Yourself, and today I want to ask you, why are you telling yourself that you can't? How many times a day do you tell yourself, I can't do this? I can't heal. Why can't I heal? Why? If you're asking yourself, why can't I? It's still the same thing as saying, I can't do it, okay? Because your mind is saying, I can't do it. You're just phrasing it in a different way. So why can't I heal is the same thing as saying, I can't heal. I know why you do this. You do this to protect yourself. If you said, I feel great, I can heal, I can totally heal, and I will heal, then all your excuses are taken away. Every single excuse that you have to get up, to stand up, to raise your head, to do it anyway, regardless of the symptoms, regardless of the pain, regardless of what's happening in your life, regardless of the circumstances, if you say I can, then you have just taken away every single excuse that you have as a human being to cop out. Now please hear me. I know that this is not easy. None of it's easy, but you're going to be in pain, you're going to be suffering, you are going to be dealing with whatever it is that you're dealing with, whether you do the thing that you think you can or can't do or not, you're going to be feeling the same way. So you might as well stop saying, I can't walk, I can't sleep, I can't eat this, I can't do that, right? I can't do something means I won't. I won't try. I'm going to hang on to this as an excuse. And this is not to be mean, because you can do it. You absolutely 100% can do it. And you've got to start telling yourself you can, and taking away the words, I can't. And that, in truth, is the only thing standing in between you and something you want. It's the only thing standing in between the person who can and the person who can't is the person who says they can. Okay, so if you stop saying you can't and you just do it, pick yourself up and do it. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying you're not gonna suffer, you're not gonna hurt, it's not gonna be terrible, but you can do it. You can eat that dairy, you can eat the tomato, you can go to bed on time, you can lay there until you fall asleep, you can get up and go for a walk, you can stop the negative thinking, you can retrain your mind, you can focus on something else, you can stand up to the thoughts that are telling you I can't. And I understand you're tired. You're so tired. You're exhausted. You want to believe that you can't in a way because it's hard. It's hard to believe you can because it's so tremendously painful, exhausting, and out of our comfort zone when we do something that part of us is resisting. So part of you is resisting doing it for some reason. And it could be physical pain, it could be mental anguish, it could be because you feel more comfortable just sitting there. You're afraid. It could be because you're afraid to activate something, or you fear something. Whatever it is, it's not, this isn't conscious, this is subconscious. So when I'm telling you, like, you gotta get up and do the thing that you say you can't, I'm fully aware that the part of you that chooses to not do something or to think that you can't is fully subconscious. So there's no blame here. Even though I'm like yelling this message, I'm like angry, it's not because I'm angry at you. I know, I was there. I know you can't because your subconscious is blocking you from thinking that you can. This isn't a conscious choice. If you could consciously choose to get up and do it, and to be well, and to get better, and to do all the things that you want to do, you would get up and choose those, goddammit. So I understand that this isn't conscious, but the truth is that you can. If you look deep enough, you can. How often do you say, I can't do this for another second? I cannot survive this illness, this chronic illness, this pain for one more day, and yet here you are. That is proof. You can. You can. How many times have you said, I can't? And it seems impossible. It seems like you cannot. You will be dead by morning. You will not be able to make it through. And if you're listening to this, you have made it through. So you can. You don't want to. You may not want to. but you absolutely can do it. So you need to change your language. So the first step is changing our language. Anytime you hear yourself saying, I can't heal, I can't eat that food, I can't do this, I can't do that because of this, right? Because of my illness, because of my pain, because of my flares, because of whatever it is, I want you to stop. Just stop. Cancel this. This is brain retraining at its finest. We must cancel the word can't. We must replace it. We must, like, hold your head up. Literally change your body state. Hold your head, your chin right up. Go taller and say, I can, and I want to choose to. I can, and I'm going to choose it. Because the truth is you can. And the question is, will you choose to try? Will you choose to do it? So whatever it is, whatever is standing in your way, like whatever you can do it one breath at a time, one step at a time, one moment at a time. You don't have to do it all at once. You don't have to be the best at it, but you can, little by little, do it. You absolutely 100%, without a doubt, no question in my mind, can. Whatever that sentence is followed by, I can't do this, do that, do the other, and ultimately I can't heal. You can. You absolutely 100% can. You can eat that. You can sleep. You can think those thoughts. You can do the thing. You can go out of your house. You can go back to work. You can. But you're in resistance to doing it for a very number of probably really, really valid reasons. And your mind is trying to protect you against getting hurt, against suffering more, and it just doesn't want to make things worse. It wants to protect you. So all that I can't is saying, I don't want to suffer more. I don't want to hurt more. I'm not going to do this because I'm scared. I would rather stay in the state I'm in the suffering and the pain that I'm in, than take a chance. It's saying, I don't believe in myself. I don't love myself. I don't have self-confidence. I don't believe. I feel badly about myself. I talk bad about myself, right? What are the messages you're giving yourself when you say the words, I can't? It's like, I don't believe in you. I don't trust you. I don't think you can. And every time you start to do it and your body gives you a symptom or it becomes too difficult, you lean into that, don't you? You lean into it and say, see, I knew I couldn't. See, it is worse. See, things are terrible. See, I knew I couldn't. See, I can't. But that is just, when we lean into that and we buy it, we believe it, then we stop. Our resistance grows higher. And then we don't try anymore. We stop trying. And every time we do get a little confidence or a little courage and we try and it gets worse, we build the belief. We build the subconscious belief and the subconscious pattern that, see, I knew I couldn't. See, I'm not good enough. See, there is no hope. See, and we take comfort in this. Human beings take comfort in this. Why? Because it gives us permission to stop trying. Because trying is hard. Going against our resistance is hard. Doing something new is hard. Stepping out of our comfort zone is hard. Talking kind to ourselves and building self-worth is hard. Building belief is hard. Building inner confidence is hard, right? All this takes hard, deep inner work. It takes a lot of work to change your traumas, to change the way you talk to yourself, to change your patterns, to change your beliefs, to change the things you say to yourself, to change taking the easy way out, to change stopping from trying, right? To grow bigger instead of smaller, to grow more courageous instead of more fearful. It takes a lot more work, a lot more energy, a lot more dedication, a lot more courage, bravery, right? Things that you don't have when you're at a lower level, when fear takes over and helplessness and hopelessness and anger and sadness and grief, right? But when we wallow in it and we believe that I can't, when we actually can, then we're part of the problem. I'm not saying this is conscious, it's subconscious. But now that you know, bring it to the conscious light. I just told you. So now it's not subconscious. You can start repeating it. I can. And then follow it up by action. Say it. I can go for a walk. I can walk. Now, even if you're in a wheelchair, I want you to say, I can walk. And then I want you to visualize with all the power in your mind, you walking, standing proud, holding your head up high, doing this on a nice day. Put images in your head and visualizations and sounds. Reward yourself now with something you love, even just while you're thinking of it, right? Continue to choose with your mind. You don't even have to go for the walk. Choose it with your mind. Give the visuals and the powerful messages of love and self-confidence and hope, and that you can do this. Feel good about yourself. Reward yourself, even just for the thoughts, right? Reward yourself with anything and anything that makes you feel good now. And eventually work yourself up to putting your shoes on and going out there and trying. It might hurt. You might fall. You maybe can only crawl on your hands and knees. There was a point when I had to crawl down a hallway, crawl to the bathroom, okay? But you can do it. I know you can do it. We as humans can do so much more than we think that we're capable of. You always have one more breath in you. You always have one more breath, one more moment. And it's what you choose to do with it, what you choose to think in that moment, and how you want to be and live in this world. So get up. Stop telling yourself you can't. Stop right now. Make a commitment. Draw a line in the sand and say, from here on in, I am not going to say I can't. I will say I can. I will believe it. I will choose different words. I will make different patterns. I will start to believe and create different beliefs. I will talk to myself differently. Listen, it's all in your mind. Whether you can or you can't is whether you think it. And you might be saying, I know, but I really can't. But I really can't because of X, Y, and Z. I'm different. I'm unique. I can't. I have, a physical limitation. I have this thing. There's something that makes me not be. You might be saying, I understand everything that you are saying, but I really can't. Stop right now. You can. It might hurt. It might be uncomfortable. It might be the hardest thing that you've ever had to do. You might not even be able to think that you could possibly do it, but you absolutely, without a doubt, can do it. It is going to take massive amounts of action, retraining your brain, different thoughts, continually not learning and not leaning into the moments where you fail. When you fail, when it hurts, when it's painful, that is not the moment to say see. That is the moment to rise up. And every moment that we lean into the see and the victimhood and the I can't and I knew it and I'm different and I'm not gonna make it and this isn't worth it and I can't do it, and don't do the other thing that you do. I know what you do because I used to do it. Then I'd change my mind. I'd hold my head up high and I'd say, I can, but it's gonna hurt. I can, but it's gonna suck. I can, but I hate it. I can, but I don't want to. I can, but this isn't gonna work in the end. This is gonna fail, right? It's like, that's a double negative. That's the same thing as saying I can't, only in a different, it's like you're dressing up, you're pretending, but you're not really believing it. You have to say I can. And even if I fail, and even if it hurts, and even if it sucks, and even if I don't know if I can do it, I'm gonna keep doing it, and I'm gonna keep telling myself I can, because I want to believe it, because I'm willing to change, because I know I can. Deep down somewhere inside, I know I can. And not only can I, but I will. I will choose it. I will choose it because choosing it means choosing health. It means choosing freedom. It means choosing life. And choosing to believe I can't, choosing to fall down into victimhood, choosing to lean into the excuses and the failures is choosing to stay sick. And that is a hard truth. It's a hard reality. I hate it. I hate it. It's hard. I did it so many times. And I still struggle with that, right? On my bad days, I still struggle with that. Not about not listening to your inner self saying, I'm hurting, I'm in suffering, I'm in grief. You listen to that person. When you have emotions, you listen to the emotions. You hear your emotions, you write them out, you talk about them, you feel them. You feel those emotions. Don't you ignore your inner child. Right? Don't you ignore your inner child, but do ignore the voices that say I can't, because that's not your inner child. That's conditioned pattern response, and that's fear. That's fear talking. So if you want to get down to it, we're not listening to I can't, but if you need to sit with fear for a while, sit with fear. I have fear. I'm afraid, and sit with that. Let the fear wash over you. And then you know what? At the end of that, we're going to make a choice. We're going to be with that inner child. We're going to acknowledge the fear. We are going to love that inner child regardless of the fear. And we're going to say, I'm going to choose despite the fear. I'm with you. I won't leave you. I love you. This is not about abandoning ourselves or being mean to ourselves or telling ourselves, like making ourselves a lie and believe that we can when we don't think that we can't. But when we don't think that we can't and we cannot change our mind, right? When we cannot change our mind simply by holding our head up and saying, I'm going to, because it just keeps rising, then let's sit with the emotion that's rising. Not that voice, not that voice. Sit with the real emotion underneath it. What is it that you're sitting with? Now love yourself through that. Be with yourself through that. Remind the inner part of you that is dealing with that overwhelming emotion that you are going to be there and you are going to do it anyways. You guys are going to choose together. Sit with it as long as it takes. I'm not saying you have to go for a walk right this second when the emotions are out of control that you think you can't. You sit with that part of you, the low self-esteem, the fear, the grief, the heartbreak, whatever it is that's holding you back from doing it. Sit with it, love it, hear it, listen to it, and when it's ready, take it by the hand like you would a child. Say, I hear you, I love you, but that doesn't mean we're gonna stay right here and cry all day. Come with me. Let's do the thing that we think we can't, and let me show you that you can. Let's build belief in ourselves one step at a time. We never abandon ourselves. Hear me, this is important. We never abandon ourselves. We never criticize ourselves for not being strong enough to just say we can when we think we can't. But we stop saying it so much, we stop building that belief. We listen more to the emotions, to the inner child that needs to be held. We love it unconditionally, right where it's at, no matter where it's at, even when it thinks it's going to fail and it can't. We sit there patiently waiting, and then we encourage it. Then we get up, we make a different choice. We consciously override all those subconscious feelings and patterns by consciously choosing something different, and we do it. We try. And whatever happens, happens. We love ourselves through that, and we don't lean into the, see, I knew I couldn't. We don't let that arise up. Again, that's just an inner old wound that's trying to rise to the surface, telling you to give up those old beliefs that we can't. We must bust those. We must break through those if we want to change, if we want to heal. We cannot stay the same. We cannot have the same thoughts. We cannot be making the same choices. We have to try something different no matter what. And we have to draw lines in the sand and say, I'm just going to be different now. I am going to choose differently. I can. The word can't isn't in my vocabulary anymore. I can. The truth is, if you have a severe sensitivity to cheese and you're like, I'm so afraid of it, I can't eat it. Truth is, you can. Now, that doesn't mean go out and eat a pound and see what happens. That means look at it for a while. Sit with it. Smell it. Visualize it in a different way. Reward yourself for even thinking kind thoughts about cheese. Sit with it for as long as you need to. I mean, be there. And then when you finally do, smell it, touch it, put it to your lips. Take a small bite. Reward yourself, right? Reward yourself for the courage that you had. It's not for doing the act. It's not about eating the cheese. It's the courage, right? We're not overdoing it. We're not going like, oh, I don't think I can walk, so now today I'm going to go out and force myself to do a marathon. That's not what this is about. This is consistent brain retraining over time, right? It's not about being deep down still afraid of the cheese and going in eating a big cheese pizza and then having a huge flare up and saying, see, I knew I couldn't eat cheese. That is the opposite of what I'm talking about. This is becoming friends with the cheese, making friends over time, changing the thoughts in our brain, reminding ourselves that we're safe, that we're okay, that we can do this. When we do start to take little bits, it's reinforcing and building the trust, right? It's like just reinforcing trust. It's building a habit, building a hobby. You do it slowly over time. You're building confidence, self-esteem, trust, the ability to love yourself through it, the ability to know you can handle it. You're building different things. It's not about eating the cheese. You're building something, okay? Give yourself as much time as you need to build it, but don't be afraid anymore. Don't choose based on fear. Don't stop yourself with the excuse that you can't when that's a lie, okay? The word I can't is a lie. So you must understand that. It doesn't mean that you should and can go out and do anything you want at a speed that you're not ready for, at a rate that is going to make you dive into and lean into the excuses that you can't, and then you're never gonna try again. That's why you don't go out and do it so fast, is because you might not be ready to actually stay with the consequences and not buy into them and lean into them and then never try again. So that's why a slower build is easier for people. But it's just like I can. If it's the cheese, it's like I can eat it. And then no matter how little or how big you eat, and no matter what happens, you don't go back to your old belief system. You continue to believe until it's true. Until one day you eat the cheese and you don't have the symptoms. Then you start to really believe and cultivate a belief, right? It starts to become more real the more success that you have with it. At the beginning, you're not gonna have success with anything you do because you're used to not having success with it, right? You believe that you're not gonna have success with it. So this is about believing that you can have success with it over time, and then cultivating that self-confidence and building that until you see that you can, and little by little and slowly by slowly you build your confidence so greatly that you can eat cheese whenever you want to without any problem, okay? This isn't about cheese. This is about things much deeper. But if you can't do it with the cheese, then you cannot do it with the bigger thing, which is healing yourself, which is the thing that you really want to do, right? If you can't do it with the little thing, with the tomato or the cheese, or putting on your running shoes and going just for a small walk, then you can't do it with healing. And that's really what, so it's not about the cheese. It's not about, the going to bed on time. It's not about these things. But if you can't do it the little things, if you can't build the belief and the commitment and the new patterns and sitting with yourself and believing that you can and trusting in yourself, then you're not going to believe when it comes down to it with the big things, which is where you want to get to. So you got to start practicing with everything, with every little thing. We have to change it. Okay, and we're working our way up to the big things. We're working our way up to healing fully, completely, so that you believe I can heal, not just a little bit, not just so that I can manage or cope, but I can heal 100%. That's where we're going. That's where you want to go. And if you can't do it with the cheese, then you'll never get there with the 100% healing. Okay? So I hope this video has been helpful. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do it. Please share it in the groups with all the people complaining about all the things that need to hear this message. Okay? This is a message of hope. Watch my channel. You will see that there's hope here. You can do this. It's possible. Not only is it possible, but the word I can't doesn't exist anymore. You can. You can do it. Believe it, and I will see you in the next video.